But you hooked me up this morning, Josh, because it wasn't working this morning either for me.
Well, good. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, well, made the connection.
It's the least I can do.
Yeah, right. But you hooked me up this morning, Josh, because it wasn't working this morning either for me.
Okay, we're live. Let's go.
Okay. All set, Deb?
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. I do see Senator Reagan in as an attendee. You can probably pull him in as a panelist.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Senator Gary Daniels from District 11. Today we'll be holding a meeting of the Senate Finance Committee. Before we get started, I'll read through a checklist to ensure that the meeting we are holding is in compliance with the right to know law. As chair of the Senate Finance Committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04 and its extensions, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which is authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. In accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting via telephone with additional access possible by video and other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom for this electronic meeting. All members of the committee and selected legislative staff have the ability to communicate contemporaneously in this meeting through this platform. And the public has access to contemporaneously watch and or listen to the meeting on Zoom or YouTube and via phone by following the directions and links provided on the General Court website. We have provided public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting in the Senate calendar. We are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anyone has a problem, please email remotesenate, that's one word, at leg.state.nh.us or call 603-271-6931. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, it will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes taken during the meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Finally, let's start the meeting by taking roll call attendance. When each member states their name, please indicate where they are and if anyone else is in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. I will call roll. Senator Reagan.
I'm in my office by myself.
Senator Gaida.
I'm at home in Warren by myself. My grandson and daughter are in the house upstairs.
Senator Hennessy.
Good afternoon, Senator Hennessy from Littleton. My children may come in the room with me
Senator
during the
Moore.
meeting.
Senator Morse.
Senator Morse, I'm in my office in Atkinson and I am alone.
Senator D'Alessandro.
I'm Senator D'Alessandro. I'm in my home in Manchester. I'm in the room alone, but my wife is in the house.
Okay. Senator Rosenwald.
Hi, I'm home in Nashua alone in the room.
And I'm Senator Gary Daniels. I'm at my home in Milford and I am alone. I would invite you to join me now in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance
To the
to
flag
the flag of the United States of America and to the
republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation under God,
Under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Thank you. At this time, I'll take a motion to go into executive session.
So
So
moved.
Second,
Second,
Moved by Senator D'Alessandro, seconded by Senator Gaida. And I'd like to take up Senate Bill, we need to vote first. Call
move to go
roll.
into executive.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded to go into executive session. We'll call roll. Senator Hennessy,
yes.
Senator D'Alessandro,
yes.
Senator Morse,
yes.
Senator Gaida,
Yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
Yes,
Senator Reagan,
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, and it is unanimous. We will be in exec session. First bill I'd like to take up is Senate Bill 73. This is establishing a green building standards initiative as part of the low and moderate income housing loan program and making an appropriation thereof, or therefore, and establishing a commission to study green housing and utility source options. And I understand that Senator Rosenwald, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to pass with Amendment 0359S.
Senator Rosenwald, I think you might want to just move the amendment
Move it.
first.
Okay. I'd like to move Amendment 0359S.
Senator Rosenwald moves Amendment 0359S. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Senator D'Alessandro. You recognize Senator Rosenwald.
Thank you. So we heard in the public hearing that asked us to remove Section 1, which creates the program. My amendment also removes Section, which is appropriate. And so what we're left with is a study commission to look at green retrofittings of buildings. And this, I believe, would be helpful in the places in New Hampshire that have older structures: Nashua, Manchester, Berlin, Concord, Keene, cities. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion on the amendment.
A question of Senator Rosenwald.
Mhm.
Senator D'Alessandro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Cindy, were you going to eliminate the dollar?
Yes, the dollar is gone. It's just a commission.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Further discussion? Senator Gaida.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator, I'm trying to correlate fair labor standards and green housing rehabilitation. Can you provide the nexus for those two items?
Well, I think that any project you undertake, you, as the contractors or the designers, have an option of ways to approach it. So what I might look at if I were retrofitting an old, manufacturing building in Nashua, and we have a bunch of them, and some of them have been rehabbed already. I might look at whether I could put solar panels on the roof or whether I might use certain kinds of insulation, whether I might use union labor or non-union labor. I mean, I think all those choices are open to me. I don't think there's not a nexus, but the change on line 10 also eliminates from the original bill the specifics of what fair labor standards might be, so that any fair labor standards should be considered, whether those are wages or benefits.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Okay, the motion on the floor is to the approval of Amendment 0359S. We'll call roll. Senator Hennessy,
Yes.
Senator D'Alessandro,
Yes.
Senator Morse,
Yes.
Senator Gaida,
Yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
Yes.
Senator Reagan,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, and the amendment has been adopted. We're now on to the bill as amended.
Yes, I'd like to move to pass with amendment on Senate Bill 73.
Okay, a motion by Senator Rosenwald to pass Senate Bill 73 as amended. Is there a second?
I'm seconded.
Second by Senator D'Alessandro. Discussion? Senator Gaida.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My concern is that there are already, I think, laws in existence in the state. And I think that any employer would be foolish not to employ fair labor standards for the area in which they're doing the rehabilitation. Again, I'm struggling with how this relates to green rehabilitation. Okay, I mean, we already have practices. We don't have child labor. We have child labor laws. We have things, and this to me, I just don't see the necessity for it. I don't know that there's a problem that we're looking to solve. And I'd certainly entertain that discussion.
Further discussion? No, one of the things that I had asked for as we went through the hearing on this, I asked what other organizations were doing similar type things, because there was an inference in one of the testimonies that there were others that were also working on this. I have not received any list. And I don't know if that's just because of the timing on it or something else. Rather than create another commission, if it's not necessary, and I don't know unless I see what other organizations are out there doing that, I would probably not support the ought to pass, but would support a re-refer to give time for a list of organizations to come in so that we can kind of match things up and see if this might be done without establishing a new commission. Senator Rosenwald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand your interest in getting that list, and it could just be the timing. So I'm wondering if the normal legislative process could allow for getting that list of other organizations either before the bill's enacted or before crossover.
Senator Daniels?
Yes.
We could just hold off on this, and I could contact the woman that testified that indicated she would submit a list if you would like, and then we could take this up in 2 weeks if you want.
I don't have any objection. Anyone else have feelings about that?
I looked at the, Mr. Chairman, I looked at the transcript, and in the transcript, you request Ms. Manu
Right,
to provide you with the list, and she said that she would do so.
right.
So the question is, she, gathering from the conversation, is she hasn't given you that list yet. So I think it's incumbent upon her to give you the list. You asked for it. And as Deb says, she could follow up on that if indeed that can be, that's going to make a difference. I think that's a good way to do it.
If that is amenable to the committee, then we'll just kind of table this for right now. The amendment has passed, so we'll come back to it in, I guess, a couple of weeks.
Senator Rosenwald could withdraw her motion to ought to pass as amended.
We could do that.
Yes, I will do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. The next one we'll take up is Senate Bill 118. This is relative to the Property Tax Relief Act of 2021.
I'm going to find it. This is Senator D's bill.
This is Senator D's bill, $20 million per year in
Right.
2022 and 23.
Well, if he doesn't move ought to
I would,
pass,
I would move on to pass. I just wonder if I was connected.
So Senator D'Alessandro moves ought to pass on Senate Bill
Second.
118, and it's seconded by Senator Rosenwald. Discussion. Senator Gaida.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the effort to return funds to our towns, but I've spoken to numbers of my select boards. I have 27 communities that I represent. And their concern is the 60% for tax reduction. They feel, and I feel equally appropriately, that if we return funds to the towns, that we should let the voters decide, let the people in those towns decide the disposition of those funds. Because there are some towns who don't need to do property tax relief. There are other funds, other towns that do, and they've elected officials called selectmen and so forth, or city councilors or whatever, to make those decisions. And while I think it is an appropriate gesture, I have to decline to support it because of the requirement of dictating to the towns how they'll spend the money.
If I could react to that, Mr. Chairman.
Senator D'Alessandro, you recognize?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It just seems to me that every time we have a hearing on any piece of legislation, the key element is property tax relief. That's what I hear on almost every bill that comes to finance, and I've heard that for the 24 years that I've been in the Senate. I also heard it when I was in the House and when I was in the Council. If that isn't the case, if that's not the case, if people don't want property tax relief, then sending the dollars back to do what they want, that's fine with me. In the budget last year, we put 20 million a year in, and we said it would go without any restrictions. And obviously, people didn't use it for property tax relief because we still got the complaints this year that property taxes were too high. I will go with the will of the committee. I was just trying to address the needs of the communities that have manifested themselves. And most of the city that I represent has a tax cap. That tax cap is in place, and the cry from the people in the city of Manchester is property taxes can't go up. They shouldn't go up. So you should use money for property tax relief. I'm willing to do whatever this committee wants. Indeed, if we can get the money back to the community. I mean, that's my goal, is to get money back to the community. And I think when Senator Morse discussed this, in the past, we've taken these bills, we pass them, we bring them to the floor, we table them, and then they become a budget issue. I'm amenable to that situation. My goal is to get more dollars back to the communities. And in essence, if they don't want to use it for property tax relief, if the mandate is not tolerable at this juncture, let it go back as aid to the communities. I'm happy with that. Again, my goal was to address the need that's been expressed by communities.
Thank you, Senator Rosenwald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two sets of feelings about this bill. One is that we have a number of bills before the Senate this year. Some are in finance and some are in ways and means that seek to return money to communities. And I think it would be helpful to be able to consider all options within the context of the budget when we get it and have a better look at revenues. But I'm also from a locality where property taxes are a huge issue. And we've had a spending cap in Nashua for about 30 years. But there was recently a court case saying it was unenforceable because there was not a measure to override it. So there's a Senate bill to address that. And I think that's much more heavy-handed than the legislature saying, we understand that we're putting more burdens on communities, but we're going to help. I mean, what we see in Nashua is people being driven out of here by unable to afford their property taxes. And the alternative is to cut essential services below where people want. So I think this is a reasonable approach. It's not a giant amount of money compared to other options for returning money to cities and towns. And Nashua did use about half of the money for property tax relief. They didn't want to, but they felt they should, and they did. So I think all of that is working, and 60% is not that onerous.
Further discussion. Senator Morse.
Yep. I don't know that I'd agree that every bill is going to go to the table to be discussed in the budget, but I do believe this bill, because the governor already has something in his budget. I think the better way to do this, because I agree with Senator Guida, I don't like one part of it, would be to re-refer this, then to table it. The ultimate goal is to send 20 million back to the communities. I agree with that. So that part of it, I think if we could get this to the table, we bring up during our phase of the budget and look to increase the number in the budget to send it back to our communities. What they do with it, I agree with Senator Guida, that's really a local choice. And but in any case, I think re-referring this and tabling it is the best way to handle this bill. I'm not saying I do that with every bill, but I believe this is one that we're going to want to incorporate in some fashion. So,
Thank you. Senator Reagan. Senator Reagan.
I had lowered my hand.
Oh, it's still up. There you go.
All right.
Senator Hennessy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to echo Senator Morse's sentiments on this. And I also just want to make a comment. I think we re-refer is a better option on this, because I think there's some unintended consequences of the wording of it, especially with the free and reduced lunch portion, where the disposition of the funds would not go to where Senator D'Alessandro had originally intended them to.
Thank you. Any further discussion? The motion on the floor is ought to pass on Senate Bill 118. Are you ready for the question? We will call roll. Senator Reagan,
Yes.
Senator Rosenwald.
What is the motion?
The motion is ought to pass.
Yes.
Senator Guida.
Parliamentary inquiry.
Yes.
We pass this. Is the motion then going to be to table or re-refer? I'm looking down the road, because my opposition to the 6% remains.
It would go to the floor as ought to pass. At that time there, we would be up to the body as to what they do with it.
Thank you. I'll vote yes. Thank you.
Senator Morse,
no.
Senator Hennessy,
No.
Senator D'Alessandro,
Yes.
and the chair votes no. Motion passes 4-3.
Who would like to take it out?
I'll take it out.
Okay, Senator D'Alessandro. Thank you. And take up Senate Bill 98. This is relative to the SNAP incentive program.
I have to find it. Oh, it's in the second committee bills?
This is on the second committee bills.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to move on to pass.
Senator Rosenwald moves ought to pass on Senate Bill
second it.
98, seconded by Senator D'Alessandro. Discussion.
Senator Hennessy, I saw put her hand up.
I was just gonna second it.
Oh. If I might, Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
I think this is, for a small amount of money, a win-win for families, for nutrition, for farmers. Nashua has a really big farmers market from the spring into the fall. Farmers come from really all over southern New Hampshire. And it's fantastic, and it draws the community out. And it's just a big win for everyone.
Further discussion? Seeing none, you ready for the question? We'll call roll. Senator Hennessy,
Yes.
Senator D'Alessandro,
Yes.
Senator Morse,
Yes.
Senator Gaida,
Yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
Yes,
Senator Reagan,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. The vote being 7-0, the motion passes.
Who will take it out, Mr. Chair?
Senator Hennessy, you want to take that out?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, and I think all the rest of them still remain where work needs to be done, or we're waiting for information on those. So at that, I will look for a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Moved by Senator
Second.
Hennessy, seconded by Senator D'Alessandro. We'll call roll. Senator Reagan,
Yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
yes.
Senator Gaida,
Yes.
Senator Morse,
Yes.
Senator D'Alessandro,
Yes.
Senator Hennessy.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We will be out of the executive session. So that leaves us with Senate Bill 72, 73, which we'll wait on the list for. 119, we're anticipating an amendment on that. Anticipating an amendment on 127. Let's see. Senate Bill 104, we've got a hold on that, as well as Senate Bill 44. I need to find out a little bit more information regarding the workforce pathway program. So with that,
Back to the question, Mr. Chairman.
yes, sir.
Thank you. The bill with regard to the firemen and the death benefit. I spoke to the retirement plan. I've spoken to Senator Rosenwald. I've spoken to Senator Gaida. That's a language change. Who's gonna bring that forward? Cindy, you are?
It's in drafting.
Okay.
I've met with Senator Gaida. Well, Marty Carlin from NHRS wanted to pass the language of changing when someone could do pre-selection through his legal and benefit people. So it should be, we should be able to have it
Excellent.
by the next time we meet.
Okay. When I spoke with him, he agreed with me, and I guess after speaking with both of you, that it's a language change that could be done, that sets that puts this thing to bed and alleviates having a problem as we move forward. So it seems to me that if that gets done, we could bring that out.
I'm working on it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We'll take it up.
Great, thank you.
Okay, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Senator D'Alessandro, seconded by Senator Gaida. Call roll. Senator Reagan,
Yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
Yes.
Senator Gaida,
Yes.
Senator Morse,
I think that spruce is that enough. Yes.
Senator D'Alessandro,
Yes.
Senator Hennessy,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, and we will be adjourned. Thank you very much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.